Higginson. Mwah. Thank you. You're awesome.
Love you.
Love you.
You're broadcasting.
Okay. Okay. Would you like to come join me? Come on. Come on. Here, we'll have a little coffee talk right here. Pull up here. Love you guys. Thank you.
Where do you want?
That's perfect.
Right there?
Yep. I love you. Look, say hello.
Hi.
Have fun. Good luck. Thank you. Love you. You too. Say hello.
Hello.
All right. You're going to sit in here with me. It's going to be like the power class of the month. All right. All right.
Love you, baby.
I love you. Thank you. All right. See, let me get my bearings. So I am here with team leader Lisa Maudlin, and we are, come sit so that we can both be in here together. This is going to be so, oh, perfect. How fun is this? Okay. So we are doing our team building. Now I feel coffee breath.
I'm not making that with you.
Okay. We are doing our team building webcast, and I put together some notes of things that I think is really important for you guys to know regarding team building. So hopefully this will be helpful to you. Okay, first of all, based on a conversation, come sit next to me. So we're like, here, let's sit like this. Okay, there we go. Okay, first of all, based on a conversation that I had with Lisa actually earlier today, I wanted to give a little refresher course on, you know, being an entrepreneur is definitely, it's different than going in and working for somebody else. And I have seen it time and time again. I've experienced it myself where, why do we work so hard for somebody else and we don't do it for ourselves? And I'm not picking on you. I mean, it's we all fight this. And so when regarding others, we work with our hearts, but in leading ourselves, if we can really work from discipline and schedule instead of emotion, I think we'll be a lot more effective. And again, I'm preaching to myself as much as all of you guys. So anytime you feel like you're doing a lot of mental gymnastics in your head, just go back to some wisdom that our friend Regina Debsky always used to say: what is the next right thing that I can do to move forward and build my business? And so, you know, set a goal of how many reach outs a day you want to make, of how many selling appointments a week that you want to hold, and then just get to work on that with focus. Focus totally on the outgoing effort and not the results, and the results will come. And Lisa's had some amazing results already, so just imagine the next 3 to 6 months is going to be huge for you and your team and beyond.
Absolutely.
And we talked about, I loved this, that being an entrepreneur is not like a vending machine. You don't put the money in and then it comes out. It's more seed planting, and when you plant seeds, you don't put the seed in the ground and always see that immediate result. But over time, you're going to have something that's going to produce lasting fruit that's going to produce for you over and over and over again. So yes, it's exciting. So do you have any tips that you want to share with anybody before I share with everybody just on your strategy for doing just that? what is your strategy for what you want to see daily, weekly, monthly from your business, and how you're going to implement that? Busy mom with 3 busy daughters. How, what are some of the strategies that you're going to implement?
Something that I do is actually, especially picking up this part-time job, which has consumed a lot of my time as well. Whenever I have those 3 to 5 to 10 minutes of nothing, I will, send out a reach out, text somebody, send a Facebook message. And so I feel that if I listen to you, when I listen to you and I do exactly what my director tells me to do, it works. And so that's kind of just what I've been doing.
Awesome.
Just something every day.
Good. That's great. Good. Okay. I did want to give one more example too. A really good friend of mine, Chris Isbell, is very successful in insurance sales, and it's very much an independent contractor type of deal. And he was giving the example Sunday. He actually preached a sermon at our church and used this as an example of like in our faith. A lot of times we think we have to know a certain amount before we start sharing our faith. And he likened it to an independent contractor he had on his team with insurance. The guy was a former surgeon who had a stroke. And because of the stroke, he had a slight tremor in his hand, so he couldn't be a surgeon anymore. So we got into the insurance business. So the guy was brilliant. I mean, really, really smart guy. And Chris said the guy knows everything about everything. I mean, dude was smart, and he was good with people. I mean, the guy was a surgeon, for crying out loud, But as Chris coached him, he was always wanting to amass knowledge, which, I mean, we should to a certain extent prepare. But it got to the point where the guy was more than ready to just go out in the field and do it. And if he stumbled and made a mistake, he was able to just, reach out to Chris right away and say, hey, I have a question or whatever. But every time Chris followed up with him, the guy he had created this huge training manual for himself of all the information on how to do his presentations, his insurance presentations, and all the information you need to know. And the guy would never just go into the field, stumble. Mary Kay Ash said that her knees were the bloodiest from falling down and getting back up again. And we should get some basic knowledge under our belt, but at the end of the day, the best way to start to learn is just getting out there and doing it. And thank goodness we're not surgeons. Right. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we do mess up, no, it's not going to harm somebody's.
Nobody notices.
Right. So, action is what is going to help you tighten up those skills, because then as you walk away from each appointment, you can say, okay, yes, I loved how I did that. Oops, I need to tighten up this. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to give that reminder of working from discipline and not emotion, and not waiting to know everything before you just get out and do. Because team building, you guys, it's really no different than holding a team building interview is no different than holding a facial or a party. There's an opening, there's a way to book it, there's an opening, there's a middle, and there's a way to close it, and there's a way to follow up.
Right.
And I think, first of all, we got to connect with our why. Why are we even team building? Just like with building our customer base, we got to be clear on that. Is it financial goals? That is fine. There is nothing wrong with that. Is it, just some of the things, I put a few things down in my notes, but it could be different things for different people. Most definitely it could be financial. If you look at the same productivity for a team leader and the same amount of production, like a $5,000 a month of your own orders in your team, and you take that same $5,000 in production as a sales director, your income triples off of that. Because of the bonuses and everything. So the same effort, the same numbers, but because you are getting paid at a higher scale because of the responsibility of training and empowering women, your income triples off the same So yeah,
That's exciting.
yeah. So definitely income would be a motivator. The opportunity to grow and lead. I will tell you, even with a small team, your first few team members, it adds a whole new dimension to your business. When I've been reading so many different things from so many different sources lately. Rick Warren's Purpose Driven Life, A Trip Around the Sun by Mark Batterson, and from our Lioness Bible study. It is not, when it becomes not about me, all about me, everything takes on a whole new dimension. And when you realize now I'm setting an example for somebody else, I can be an encouragement, a source of strength for somebody else, whether they stay in Mary Kay a lifetime or for a season, it changes the whole complexion of your business.
Absolutely.
And you've gotten to see that already, and it's exciting.
Yes.
It's exciting.
It's
exciting.
I'm ready for more.
And let me see this. And as we start to learn to influence and lead and set an example, it automatically grows us personally. And it's been life-changing. It's been life-changing for me, team building. Another reason to team build, and again, this isn't, the only reasons, but another reason to team build would be there is an absolute leadership void in this world, in our communities, in churches, in families. There's a leadership void. A lot of people are very disconnected, and I have loved, and I thank God just about every day for the opportunity to lead in my community, to teach Sunday school, to lead a Bible study, and it's a direct result of the skills that I've learned through my Mary Kay business, leading just a couple people at a time, learning to lead myself in discipline in my schedule, and it's opened up opportunities to be a strong example for youth and women and in my community. And I mean, that's like life purpose stuff right there. You know
Yes.
what I mean? What more could you ask for? So, and then of course the opportunity for greater influence. The larger your team becomes, the more opportunity you have for even nationwide influence, even worldwide influence. I mean, some of these top directors and nationals get to travel to other countries and train through interpreters. I mean, that's exciting. You know what I mean? To have the opportunity to speak into the lives of women that you don't even know their language, but you have the opportunity. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So share your, and that's not just sharing business skills, that's sharing life skills, that's sharing your faith. I mean, that's exciting. So what is your why? I really hope as you listen to this that you will jot down some things. What is my purpose, my reason for team building? And really a basic one is Mary Kay asked us to. She asked us to pass it on. And I can promise you that there are women you come across every day that at night they're laying in the bed praying, God, please show me a flexible way to make extra income, a way to personally grow, a way to connect, a way to take my gifts and talents and abilities and pour it into something.
Mm-hmm.
Please show me what that thing is. And every day we're passing these women. And so who are we to not share? Because again, it's not about us. It's about them. I mean, we all have our own goals and dreams, but what if you pass this on to somebody who, I mean, this is what they were praying for.
Well, personally, that's what one of my team members had told me when I just invited her out to facial her. And she said, oh my gosh, I was just crying about this, thinking I was going to go have to go get another job, a third job. I'm so glad Mary Kay is here. So
awesome. That's a great testimony. That's exciting. Okay. So get in touch with your why. What is your why?
3 girls who are at home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That need me to be there with them because I can't depend on somebody else to raise them. And so whenever I'm gone to another job for 8 hours at a time, or sometimes 10 hours when I work big events, there's nobody there with them. Sometimes babysitters fall through. I can't depend on someone to always all summer watch my child, especially for free.
Mm-hmm.
So they are my why, because they need me to be at home with them.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Good. Yeah, use your children as your reason and not your excuse, for sure. I mean, my kids in their own right have giftings from God. I don't take any credit, but I will say that it has benefited my children, and I've had the benefit of having a grown child look back at me and say, I stayed the course because I saw you stay the course,
That's wonderful.
and that's like
Sweet.
yes. Okay. I want to touch on really quick the importance of learning personalities. And this is something that Lisa has studied with our mentor, Cheryl Haruska, and it's life-changing. There is a book that I believe is absolutely imperative for everybody to read. It's called Personality Plus by Florence Littauer. You can Google it. You can get it on Amazon for next to nothing. She describes the 4 personality types as basically 2 extroverts, 2 introverts, and she uses different names. In business, a lot of times this is called the DIS and C. It's imperative because you learn the strengths and weaknesses of each personality type so you can learn yourself, and so that you can learn those around you in your family, if you're married, your significant other. It will enrich the relationships in your life totally, because you can learn to invite the Lord to help you with your weaknesses, and then you can learn to overlook the weaknesses in others and realize that sometimes part of that is just part of their temperament, and you can learn to call out the strengths in them, and it's an invaluable tool. They always say a baby doesn't come home from the hospital with an instruction book. This is the instruction book. I mean, it really is. And there's a Personality Plus for parents. And that kind of, there's a test that you can test yourself. You can test your kids. And then because it helps you understand how to relate. And I mean, I could do a whole webcast on that. It's one of my favorite subjects. But my point is, basically the D personality is the dominant, the kind of the natural born leader, outspoken. A lot of times they, when you ask them about themselves, they'll talk about their accomplishments, their degrees, that kind of thing. Very competitive, lots of great strengths. Nothing would ever get done in this world without the D personality, or, but then the weaknesses, they can tend to be bossy or overbearing, they can tend to kind of use people as a resource rather than, kind of getting deeper and really touching and caring. And so that's your D personality. That's one of your extroverts. The I is another extrovert. And Lisa and I are both I's. And so, that's where it's the fun. I mean, you could be sitting anywhere, you could be sitting in the gas station of a parking lot of a gas station and having fun,
My eye is trying to be really quiet right now.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Right. But we can, so we're the life of the party. We like to have fun. We enjoy laughing, and we talk loud and dress in bright colors. But sometimes too, we can tend to be a little bit more shallow and not go to the deeper, really listening. And we got to learn to stop talking, which we're good. I mean, we're getting better at this, but stop talking and listen more. We can tend to be disorganized. And so the reason that I'm talking about this is as you go into selling situations and team building situations, if you know yourself and you can start to ask a few simple questions and start to read what the person is, that way you can find their need and fill it. And when you can really hone that people skill, it's life-changing, because you can really give them what they need in both the product and the opportunity. So that's the I personality. And then there's 2 introverts, the S and the C. the S tends to S is for security. They when you ask them about them, they talk about their family. They tend to be, you know, introverted, very creative, very quiet, very detailed. They kind of let those loud, obnoxious extroverts take over, you know, but man, they can have that quiet confidence that's very powerful. So we need them on our team, and they can tend to be very sensitive to others and really think on a deeper level. And then the C is the one that really gets into the details. They're the ones that will let you know about the typos in your email, you know. Very studious, very detailed. But sometimes they're the ones like the surgeon that wrote the manual, but then could never get out and get into action, you know. So, and we can tend to be a blend of some of these. And again, this is not, I'm just giving you a very brief overview, but you can see where, like, let's say I'm a C personality, so I'm more timid, I'm more detailed, and I'm trying to give these quiet little details to somebody, and I'm trying to talk business information to a D personality, and they're like, I have 15 minutes, get to the point, how can I, you know, get to the top of the company? And you know, so we that C personality needs to learn to straighten up a little bit, talk the facts, talk quickly, and get the information out there, you know. Or an I personality say, oh, you can go to Dallas and put a crown on your head and it'll be so exciting, you can wear a shiny dress. You know, where the C personality is going to look at you and say, you're insane. I don't want to be on a stage. I don't want a crown, you know. So it's, the more you can learn the personality types, the more you can tailor the interview or the selling situation to what they need. It'd be like putting a bright red lipstick on somebody that said they just want natural beauty, you know. And so it's the same, those skills transfer from selling to team building. Is there anything you want to add to that? It's how you've learned, or you've learned quite a bit about yourself and others about the personalities.
Well, it's not that you're trying to, what Mary Beitzel said. She said, it's not that we're trying to trick people. We're trying to learn how to talk to people, because we all want to be taught differently. And so once you learn their personality, you can kind of hone in that information to exactly and tailor it to them so that they understand. And then after that, you can, you know, let your Bengals fly. Or whatever.
Good. Because again, if you don't remember anything else I say in selling and team building, it's about finding their need and filling it. It's not about, you know, you sharing what you've done with the Mary Kay opportunity. It's finding out, what do they need, and is the Mary Kay opportunity something that would fit with a need in their life? Right. Okay, so I want to quick talk about the anatomy of an interview, and I'm going to be sending out an email, and I've sent it before, but I'm going to resend an email with my outline of my actual interview. And the best interviews are where you ask more questions than you actually talk. I mean, obviously at some point you've got to talk because you've got to give the information, but just like you wouldn't put a time-wise repair on a 13-year-old, you know, you've got to ask questions, or you wouldn't put, you know, Formula One botanicals on someone who's super oily. In a selling situation, you ask, what is your skin type? What are you looking for? What do you need? Do you like to keep it simple? Do you like a lot of steps? Are you, you know, and it's the same thing with an interview. So, you know, in my outline, again, this is just an overview. But first of all, who do we look for? Who do we really look for? And that's something that is a skill where you start to, in selling situations, in women that you know, acquaintances, do you see somebody who is really, really good at what they do? That's actually somebody that you would look for, because most people, women and men, that are really good at what they do are not being paid what they're worth. But yet they're highly skilled. Those are the kind of people that you know, we think, oh, she's really good at what she does, she must love her job. You know what, she might be working 70, 80 hours a week. She might be leaving her kids, you know, Elizabeth Viola, is a top Cadillac director from Pensacola, and she was talking about how she was very high up in the corporate world, and she worked extremely hard. She missed out on a lot of her children's activities. She was a single mom, very sharp, and she finally said, okay, well, I'm going to go in and speak with my boss and say, well, at least if I'm working these kind of hours, I give me more money. At least that'll make it worth it. So she sat down and, very respectfully, and he just looked right at her and said, if you're not happy with what you're getting paid, I can have you replaced tomorrow. And she went to her desk and cried her eyes out, and thought, oh my gosh, I'm killing myself. And for what? And so, the way that most people will get paid what they're worth is working for themselves. Mm-hmm. And so you want to look for someone who is really good at what they do, right? Mm-hmm. You want to ask the woman who intimidates you. You want to ask the woman who makes you a little bit nervous. You want to ask them. Again, because a lot of times they have a lot of confidence, and you could give her a gift of this business that she could totally rock it. You want to ask somebody who shows a lot of responsibility in other areas of their life. They even, if it's a stay-at-home mom, there are stay-at-home moms that run that ship, tight and organized, and she is really good at what she does. Just because she's not a professional in the workforce doesn't mean that she is not really, really great at what she does. Or a single woman who, again, shows a lot of responsibility, a lot of class in her personal life. Because it doesn't have to be the makeup queen, you guys. A lot of women very successful in Mary Kay that weren't big makeup divas, but they had amazing work ethic, responsibility, great people skills, care for people. Now, a lot of these things are, things that can be taught. I didn't know 20 years ago when I came to Mary Kay. I never considered myself as someone that could lead or a leader, and that is something that my mentors taught me and helped me learn. Leadership can be a learned skill. You're not born that way. But I think sometimes we overlook highly skilled people, thinking that they're good and they're squared away at what they're doing, and they might be totally miserable doing what they're doing. Okay, or you know what? It doesn't have to be all or nothing either. Maybe they love what they do, but dang it, they just need a flexible way to make some extra money on the side, right? Don't just assume because somebody is happy at what they do love their job, they just don't need some extra money, for whatever, the kids' sports, to fund college funds, to put braces on kids' teeth. Sometimes people just simply need a flexible way to make some extra income. So really think about, just be prayerful over the next 24 hours. Who do you already know in your customer base or in all different walks of life that you might be overlooking, not realizing that this could be a good fit for them, not just for a career to the top, but also a flexible way to make extra income.
Mm-hmm. And I've also noticed that people on Facebook will tell you when they don't like their job, or if they want, everything that you had mentioned, like they want flexibility, they want to stay at home with their kids, like, and they will pour that on there, and then you can kind of take that as a clue, like, oh, okay, well, maybe I can tell you about the Mary Kay opportunity.
It's good. That's good. I did that very thing the other day. Somebody was venting on Facebook that they were unhappy with their chosen career that they'd worked in for years, and they will never be paid what they're worth, and for the hours and what they're pouring into it, it'll never be worth it. It'll never be worth it. So I sent a little message. Yeah. Good. That was good. Okay. So, and again, I'm going to send my outline so you can start to look over it, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but what I really want you guys to do is my challenge to you is really within the next week and a half, choose 5 women where we can either do a 3-way phone call or an in-person. I always prefer in-person if possible, but build all over the United States, you guys. And while I'm sharing the interview, you guys follow along with the outline and take notes, okay? Again, it goes back to that example with my friend Chris. You know, I remember early in my career making, you know, putting together a little interview book with information to share with people, and, you know, doing some practice interviews, and then starting to just go and share the information. And I'll never forget that awesome feeling of the very first person that said, yes, I want to do that. And I did it, you know, of course with the Lord's help, but I did it all by myself. You know, that was like a big deal. And it was empowering, and it was exciting. And once you're empowered to do this on your own, then it is to where if you're sitting doing a facial on somebody, and all of a sudden they're asking you questions, and you're realizing she's interested in this, you can say, you know what, do you have an extra 20 minutes that I can share some information with you after the facial, right? Or after a party, talk with the hostess, take that extra time. That way you're not, time isn't going by and the desire level could go down. So when you're empowered with this skill, and it's just a learned skill, then you can go right into it, right? Right. Awesome. Okay. So at the beginning of an interview, I'm sorry, let me go back to when you are booking an interview. And I always, and there's a script, and I'll put the script in the email, but even when I'm booking my own interviews, I'm basically like, you know what, you came to my heart, and I'd love to give you some information about the Mary Kay business. Look, this may be something you would never even consider, and that's okay. I'll give you a free lip gloss just for listening. It's always a win-win. Maybe something that's a fit for you, and if it's not, you'll all the more understand what my business is all about, and you'll be a great source of referrals for me, okay? I personally don't ever come at it with, girl, you're number, you know, whatever, you're number 10 on my team. I'm gonna sign you up. When are we getting together to sign you? I mean, I've never operated that way. I don't like that. That's just not how I operate, because here's the thing too. If you just throw a few little details at them, $100 kit, 50%, you'd be great. I totally want you on my team. They're going to make a yes or no decision based on just a few little facts, instead of, I would rather somebody make a yes or no decision based on all the information. And that way, if they say yes, they know what they truly understand what their next step is. Yes. And if they say no, they're empowered to be a great source of referrals for you. It's always a win-win, you guys. Anything when you're building your own business, when you're an entrepreneur, it's every seed you plant, every connection you make, it will come back to you. Don't be frustrated if you don't see that immediate result. If you plant the seed, nurture the seeds, water the seeds, love on the seeds, you know, do whatever you gotta, you know, whatever, rake the seeds, do whatever you gotta do, it's gonna bring you a beautiful harvest. Somebody might say no, but if they all the more understand what you're doing, and then you say, that is fine, there's other ways you can support my business. First of all, if you know of anybody that would be good, you send them my way. They come into Mary Kay on my team. I'll give you $50 in free product. Be my source of referrals out there in the community. Or they might be all the more excited, like, look, this might not be for me, but I will totally, you know, help you meet people, because they'll understand what it's all about. And so when you nurture those relationships, you just watch it. I mean, I just had a beautiful lady come here for a facial. She was on my team 15 years ago, you guys. That's the kind of relationships that you want, where you still have that connection, and when you reach out and you say, I'm going for a big goal, they're like, I'm gonna show up and help you with your goal. You know? Isn't that cool? Mm-hmm. Okay. So in booking the interview, there's a script that you can use, and it's always a like, look, I just want to give you the information. It might be for you, might not. It's okay. Will you listen? When are you least busy that we could sneak in that phone call or that coffee? Okay. Then I always let them know very first thing what we're doing when we first sit down. Look, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a little bit of information, you know, just kind of my testimony, my story of my experience with Mary Kay. I'm going to give you the ins and outs of how we make our money, just how the business works. But first I want to know about you. Tell me about you. Where are you from originally? Tell me about your family. Tell me about your work. Give me a snapshot of your life, and then you be quiet and let them talk. Now, if you're a person that doesn't retain details, for some reason, God gave me a brain that retains a lot of those details. But if don't just sit there and have her be like the Snoopy mom, you know, ma, and then you're not listening. It's very important, because if she starts to talk about that she's lived in other parts of the country, you can talk about how she can promote her website to other people. If she, you know, just you want to, is she from here originally? Then she probably knows a lot of people here. Has she tried Mary Kay before? That is so important, you guys, because the Go Give Way, if she's an established customer of somebody else, then she is not your prospect. And when we honor that, God will bless what we're doing. So always be sure to ask before you even book the interview, do you have a consultant? Have you tried Mary Kay before? And, you know, she says, oh yeah, you know, 5 years ago, you know, when I lived in Alaska, you know, I mean, then, you know, I mean, if it's been over a year and she's not been faithfully serviced by somebody, then absolutely. But if she just went to, you know, something last week and she's been faithfully serviced by somebody with preferred customer lookbooks and all of that, then you say, great, you've got someone who's taking great care of you. And I promise you, God will bless you when you honor that. So you ask questions, and then again, I suggest, especially you guys that are just starting to do this, jot down notes of whatever she says. Her kids' ages, what's important to her, what seems like is her driving motivation, if extra income is an issue. And then something that I love to ask is, you know, what is your dream? You know, like if they say that they're going to school or that they, you know, have a degree, I'll say, you know, what is your dream job, or what were your dreams with that degree? You know, if they're in school currently, what is your dream job with that? And listen. And again, what we're doing is not just shooting facts at somebody or trying to convince somebody to do something so that we have so many people on our team. We are listening to find her need and to see if Mary Kay can fill it. Isn't that cool? And then, so once we gain that information, we start to her of what Mary Kay could be for her, and then put her in that picture. So ask lots of questions, and then you just go into a little bit of basic company history so that they know. And then you go into the sales end of it. And I think the thing that I really love and I think is important that I always share regarding sales is that, you know, because there's a lot of great products out there. You know, I mean, I happen to think Mary Kay is the best one, but I mean, there are a lot of great products out there. And so what I will say is, you know, that Mary Kay is the same quality as the Clinique or the Estee or the department store brands, but our retail price is lower because we don't have the overhead of being in a department store. And then we as the beauty consultant are kind of the magic ingredient. Based on market research, women want a relationship experience when they make a purchase. We're like a trusted hairdresser. Like, I wouldn't just go anywhere to get my hair done. I go where I know the same woman listens to me. She does what I ask, and we've built a friendship. I enjoy catching up, you know, like I can't wait to hear about her new boyfriend, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And you know, and so I go where she cares about my life. I care about her life. She gives me great service. She gives me a great price. I know I'm going to have an enjoyable experience. She fits me in because I'm high maintenance, always last minute. You know, can you fit me in, you know, Sunday at midnight, you know, and she does it. And so we as the beauty consultant, we become like that trusted hairdresser. So they're getting a great product at a great price, but then they're getting the service and the relationship. That's the magic of what we do.
Absolutely.
So, you know, that's the point you want to get across. And then you can go through the different ways that we sell the product and that we do make 50%. And you know, you talk about the the website on the go. And again, you tailor it to, do they have people local? Do they have people out of town? And how that all works. Okay. Then you go into the team building. And, you know, one of the main things that I say, it's really important to me that they understand that this isn't a pyramid or multi-level type of thing, that because there are other home-based businesses that the only way you make money is to sign people up. And everybody knows that.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times they're hesitant to hear about Mary Kay because they think, oh, you know, it's just one more thing where I got to sign up my, you know, my dog and my grandma and my uncle and my, you know, and that's not how this works. I say you can make great money retailing the product and making that 50%. But what naturally starts to happen as you build your customer base, you're going to come across women who need a flexible way to make extra income, who are interested in personal growth, that, you know, need what we have to offer, have that entrepreneurial spirit, and you can start to hand select. I know it's been super fun for you to hand pick the women. Yes, yes, because so many times you work with in other work environments, you do not get to pick who you work with.
Right. Absolutely.
So I mean, to hand select that team to represent your team, and then I explained to them that the way you get paid for that is every month, whatever your team orders from the company to service their own customers, Mary Kay gives you a percentage of that out of the company's profit, not out of your team member's pocket. And that clicks with people because I'll explain, I'm not a distributor with people under me that get less of a discount and I get a better discount on the product and they all get their product from me. That is not how this works. We're all independent contractors that deal directly with Mary Kay. We all make that 50%, and the team building commissions are paid to us from the company's profit. The company literally has a bank to pay those team building commissions from. And originally they told Mary Kay Ash, you're going to go broke. You're giving away too much of your profits. But she's brilliant, and now we're a multi-billion-dollar, debt-free, privately owned company, and everybody's making money from the brand new person to the very top person, and so we can take great pride knowing that we are sharing the same opportunity that we have. We're sharing that exact same opportunity to anybody that we share the business with.
And it's exciting to see those monthly commission checks go up. You know? Like
Right. And make copies of the ones that you get now, and then write zeros in next to it. Oh, you did a direct deposit.
Direct deposit. No, but I do have like the first two that I got, and then I cashed them. I kept them.
Good. No.
Keeping those.
Make copies of them and put zeros. Because, and this is what I'll say, when my team was small, you guys, those monthly checks were $100 to $500 a month, which still a lot of people can benefit from that kind of extra money coming into their, but you guys, now my checks range between $3,000 to $5,000 a month. And that, I mean, praise God. And, but I mean, awesome. But I can give you that exact same opportunity, and that's working like 25 hours a week, you guys. And that isn't, that I've been driving Mary Kay cars since 1999. So all those years, don't even tell me what year you were born, but since 1999.
Not 1999.
Well, so that's no car payment, and then that doesn't include my sales either, you guys. So right this second, that might not be where you're at with your Mary Kay, but you can say my sales director, blah, 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 and she's coaching me to build my team and to build my customer base. Yes. Good. And learn to tell stories. And that's why going to the bigger events is so important, because you can learn to tell the stories of different people. Because if you're sitting in front of a professional woman, never married, doesn't have children, you know, she doesn't want to hear about how you're doing this to put braces on your kids' teeth. You know what I'm saying? So, but you can learn the stories of other professional women and share her story. Or if you're sitting with a single mom, you know, you can tell them about when I was a single mom, or, you know, some other single moms in our group. So when you can learn to tell stories and make it relatable to them. Again, it's not about me. I don't want them to think they have to be like me to be successful in Mary Kay. I want them to see that the person that they are, they can be an asset to our company, that they have something to bring to the table, and that Mary Kay has something to offer them. Okay, so you know and again the team building. One thing I do want to say is we want to give information to where they can make a decision, but if you start getting really, really detailed, people will get bogged down by the details. Unless they are an SRC personality and they're asking for those extra little details, learn to give an overview of something. For example, if somebody says, how do you earn a car? You're fine. Yes, probably. If somebody says, how do you earn a car? I don't go into step-by-step qualifications of earning a car, because that would just blow everybody's minds. But you can basically say it's a qualification period within 1 to 4 months of certain amount of production and building a team of 14 women.
Does it have to be 14 for car?
So, you know, and then from there, but you can say, you know, from starting with your very first team member, I and my sales director will be there to coach you for the next step of the career path. There'll be somebody to coach you through your very next step. Okay, you start getting super bogged down in details, and you're going to lose people a lot of times. Any question? What were you going to say? No. Okay.
14 people in it.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Okay. Anyway. Okay.
I feel like I was in trouble.
Okay. So you want to touch on the team building, and all the while you want to be asking, do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? Or waiting to see if there's something, because again, you don't want this to just be a monologue. And don't, just like in a facial or makeover, don't be afraid to say, do you have any questions? If somebody asks you a question that you don't know the answer to, the professional thing to do is, that is a great question. I'm going to jot that down. I'm going to call the company or get with my sales director, and I'll call you back tomorrow with the answer to that. That is totally professional. Nobody is expecting you to be an expert on everything. And the cool thing about that is when and if that happens, then you're going to know what to say next time when that question comes up, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I touch on training, the training that's available to them through InTouch, through local meetings, through, you know, and again, if they're within a, 5, 6, 7 hour radius, I will go and help them with their debut party if that's something they want to do. So we show them there that, you know, the support and education is there. So it's important to touch on that. And then basically how you get started. And, you know, you tell them about the kit, how much, you know, it's over $400 of full-size product, demo product, mirrors, trays. You touch on product on hand, but it's again, it's really important that you don't just blow their minds or give them too much information. Basically, the minimum product order is $225. You can go all the way up to $3,600 or anywhere in between. That's a second decision somebody makes once they say, yes, I want to be in Mary Kay. Yes, I'm going to order my $100 kit. And then we have a second discussion to talk about what's best for you as far as products on hand. Then you go into the 90% guarantee. But the cool thing is you get your kit, you get some product on hand, give this a good year of effort, I always say. And you decide you learn some skills, met some people, it's not for you. You can send that product back to Mary Kay and they'll pay you 90% of what you paid for it. It's important to share that.
I think so.
Right? I mean, a lot of times that's the thing that gives people the courage to take that step of faith. It's a 90% buyback. Okay. Then the close, well, you touch on tax deductions. Make sure that they understand that there's tax deductions, and if that's something you're not clear on, again, it's in the outline. Go, you want to go get one? Okay. You know, we are what's called a Schedule C or 1099, and don't be intimidated by that. You don't have to have a You don't have to be an expert on any of that, but what you do need to let them know is that they will be trained on what deductions to keep track of, and that we always suggest that they go to a CPA that understands being an independent contractor, even better, the Mary Kay business, because it helps at tax time. If you're a person that pays in, it helps you pay in less. If you're a person that gets back, it helps you get back more. So it's like a tax shelter. Okay, so the last thing, and this is probably the most important thing, is how to close it, you guys. And it's extremely important, and Lisa's really been working on this, that you have a specific notebook, whiteboard, poster board, something that when you interview somebody, you write down the name, the date, their contact information, because again, this might not be just an immediate, I gave you the information, you sign up. There may be a layering or a following up process, and you don't want to forget about somebody 6 months down the road that just with some professional caring, layering, and follow-up may eventually be on your team. And no for now is not no forever. Mm-hmm. And I could tell you story after story of flooding interviews running with certain consultants where we didn't get a lot of yeses in that month or two, but then all of a sudden 3-4 months down the road, 6 months down the road, people started going, okay, I'm ready, okay, I'm ready. And it was just like this flood that came from the effort from a couple months ago. Yes, you've experienced that. Absolutely. And again, being an entrepreneur, I can promise you what you're doing today might show up today, but what you're doing today, this week, this month, is going to show up 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. And so if you have a time where you're not putting a lot of effort into your business, that's what's going to show up 6 months, 9 months, a year from now. But if you're planting the seeds with balance and joy and love and layering, you're going to see some of the effort now, but you're going to see some of the effort again 3 months, 6 months, 9 months down the road. You're going to start to see, you know, if you've ever grown have you ever grown a plant like a tomato plant or like a tried? Okay.
It was exciting to see it come up out of the ground. Okay. It bloomed. There were tomatoes. Okay. It just fell over.
Okay. Okay. Well, you get what I'm trying to say. Yes. Okay.
Talk to it, nurture it.
There you go. Right. But okay, so like a good example would be a few years ago, we had a garden in our backyard, and man, Bill went out there every morning, and he was in love with his garden. He watered it with the hose, and he was so excited that the thing, you know, the blooms and the fruits and all that stuff, and the zucchinis and the cucumbers and stuff. But then bugs ate everything. From the inside out, it was the weirdest thing. The bugs just came in. Yeah. But that just goes to show a negative mindset, unbelief. That's the bugs that come and take everything that we nurtured and grew, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, so we have to have the organic pesticide of feeding our minds with truth and with good things and staying plugged in, keeping motivated, right?
I like that. Bugs from the inside.
Right. I just came up with that right now. But so what are some ways that you have found, because you've been at this 1.5 years, mm-hmm. What are some of the ways that you have sprayed organic pesticide on your business to keep the negative from destroying what you've worked so hard to build?
I stay in constant contact with you, and so that way if I have negative emotions or thoughts about anything that is happening, you can tell me to stop it. And I think it's kind of realizing what my worth is, and projecting that back over into my business. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The more self-worth that I feel that I have, the more that I know that this business is for me, and that I am learning those leadership qualities. And so I think it's just staying connected with positive people. And I try not to be very negative on Facebook. It took me a little while to learn that, especially we have a really great director who will call you and say, I don't think that's the best thing you should put on there because you are a businesswoman.
Yeah.
And so I'm able to really tell that to my team members now when I can say, okay, now you're a businesswoman. Now, if you were to get onto Facebook or on social media and say, I really hate these people, I hate my life, I hate my job, would you want to give money to that person?
Good.
And I have honestly had one of my team members before she recruited, she was like, of course not, I would not. I said, okay, well, you can't do that. But I say that in love because I've learned that. And so I have had people tell me, oh, your Facebook is so great. There's not a lot of negativity or anything like that. And it's because we have such a great director who has taught us not to do that. So that's
good. Good. That's good. Thank you for sharing that. I'm glad you said that. That's huge.
It is.
Because social media is definitely a soft marketing tool. Now, some people take it to the extreme and just, oh, Mary Kay, Mary Kay, Mary Kay, and I feel like that's a turnoff.
Yes.
But if our Facebook exudes inspiration and family and just life and fun and not perfection, but somebody that people would want to do business with and follow. And then every once in a while we'll say, oh, here we were at a Mary Kay meeting, or oh, here's my favorite new product. That attracts people to you. And I literally have built my team and my customer base all over the United States through social media. I mean, social media is not the main avenue, but I've connected with people because of that. And so that, I'm glad you said that is because that can be an important tool. And with this new these video links that we have to send out to people, again, people are watching.
Yes, they are.
People are watching, and it's funny. Every once in a while I have a weak moment and maybe complain a little bit on Facebook or something, just every 6 months or so. But about traffic or. You know what I mean? Whatever. And it's amazing the people that get excited when you're negative.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like people never paid one bit of attention of all this, inspiration and love. And man, one weak moment you post something negative and people are like, well, yeah, woo, so I don't know what that is. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because social media can either help draw people to you or make people say, I don't trust her. I don't want to do business with somebody like that. It's huge, huge. Okay. So in closing, when you're closing your interview, don't be afraid to say, even if it's a practice interview, you say, do you have any other questions for me? Is there any other questions that you can think of? What appealed to you the most out of what we talked about? What did you love the most? If you were to ever do Mary Kay, what would motivate you to do it out of everything that we've talked about? And is there any reason you wouldn't take that step of faith and be a part of my team? Don't be afraid to ask those questions, you guys, because again, a no is not a personal rejection of you. And you can start to learn to overcome objections. There's just some basic objections, and usually, sometimes a no is just simply a no, but a lot of times an objection will simply be, I want to do it, but there's a little bit of fear, or I need you to kind of help me make that decision. Okay, so learn those objections. I want to do it, but I don't have the $100. Learn to say, is there somebody in your life that really believes in you that would loan you the money? I don't have the time. I totally get that. We're busy. Is it worth it to you to have that extra income coming in? If I can show you how to be creative and work this around your already busy schedule, would it be worth it to you to take a step of faith? Would you be coachable? Can I coach you on how to make that extra income? I'll show you how to weave it in what you're already doing. I have to ask my husband, That's where, if you really learn to start to do husband-wife interviews, invite the husband to listen in, that will help you so much. And don't be afraid of that. A lot of times the men hear the information and they're impressed with the business end of it, and they're not making an emotional decision. So anytime you can get the husband or the significant other in on the decision of it, then they feel like they've been in on the discussion, and that helps with that. But if I've spoken with somebody and they say that, I always let them know I'll be happy to hop on the phone with them or meet you guys for coffee or whatever. Don't shy away from that. The more you do that, the more comfortable you'll get with that. So, again, there's some basic objections, and I'll put some of that in the email that I sent with the script. Learn how to send the email link. There's several tools that you want to do under business tools in InTouch. There's online agreements and send an email invite. You need to get familiar with where that is in your InTouch site so that you can send out, and that sends the email where they can actually order the kit. Have in your email, and I'll send this out, a picture of what comes in the kit, the document. That way you can shoot that to them in an email if you're talking over the phone, or have printouts of that if you're meeting with them in person, because that's important for them to have that visual of what the $100 gets them. That's really important. And then there's the Steps to Success brochure on section 2 in online ordering, and that has a picture of the cars they can earn, that has the entire career path from beauty consultant to national sales director. That's a super important visual. And Mary Beisel, our national today on our director call, said that she was in the final stages of coming up with a postcard size team building literature that we can hand to people.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Okay, so my last little thought is this. Let's say she says, I need a little bit of time to process. Say, that is great. Can I give you an assignment? Will you please make a list of everybody that you can think of that has skin in town and out of town that potential customers. And then also if you think of any questions, either write them down or text me, call me with those questions. And most women can make a yes or no decision within a day or two of hearing the information. And I don't want to be in a position of calling you, is she going to do it? Isn't she going to do it? I don't know, because if you decide not to do it, I want to service you as a great customer. So when can I call you in the next day or two? What would be a good time for your final decision? That, and then write it down, put a reminder in your phone, whatever you got to do. That keeps it from this, 6 months from now, is she, isn't she, now is she even my customer anymore? You want to say in or out, yes or no, and then great, because now I know to either take you in your next steps as my team member, or I know to service you, I know to book you, I know you're a source of referral. You know what the next step, just simple communication, simple professional communication. But again, you need to keep a master list of everybody you've ever interviewed with date and contact information. And every month or so, go through that list and say, is this somebody that I need to follow back up with? And either check on them product-wise, make sure they know that that I want to be of service to them, or see if their situation has changed. I heard a statistic, I'm not going to say it perfectly, but something like people's life circumstances change like every 3 months, a cycle goes through.
Mm-hmm.
And so what their situation today is might not be the same 3, 4, 5 months from now. So again, a no for now is not a no forever. That is okay. So my last, and I already kind of said this. Is there anything you think is important to add? No. Any questions? I mean, we've been doing this. You know the deal. Like, you're on it. What has been the most rewarding thing to you about team building?
The personal connections with the women. The fact that they let me into their life. People that I had never really thought would be my friends, or would want to be on a team with me. want to be on a team with me. And so that's what's exciting. You know,
Cool.
those women that you know, I felt were that made me nervous, or you know, will call me on the phone and ask me questions.
Mhm.
You know, and not just about Mary Kay, but about life.
Yeah.
So
Very cool. Very cool. It's a deep connection and friendship. Yeah,
Yes.
with a lot of them. That's very cool. Okay, so here's the challenge, because again, this is a skills-based business, you guys, and once you get those simple skills under your belt, then you're not going, oh my gosh, let me look at my notes, I'm nervous. You can just do it, and you can really be into, again, what is their need and how can we fill it. So my challenge to you is I'm going to, again, send the email with the interview to the script to book the interviews. And then we're going to hold 5 together with you taking notes with the script that I'm going to send, the outline that I'm going to send. Then I want you to take it a step further and do 5 more on your own. And you can tell the people, this is from my training. There's nothing wrong with that. I want to sharpen my skills in this area of my business, and so my director is working closely with me. Would you give your honest opinion and honest feedback? It's totally worth it.
Yes.
It's totally 1,000% worth it. I'm sitting here, you guys, 20 years in the business, sales director since 2000, earned my first car in 1999, and the only difference between where I am and where you are is more people said no to me. Seriously. And it's no, I got together with this fabulous, I love her. I met her. She was our server at Bimini Bob's for our anniversary weekend. And she worked in Branson for 10 years selling timeshare. And she said timeshare is, it's, you know, like people will say no to you pretty much all day long, you know. But she said, I just learned no meant next. And so, you know, okay, you're not in the market for what I have to offer. That's okay. Let me talk to the next one. Yeah. And I mean, she was able to totally just work from doing her job and not from emotion. And she rocked it. I hope so. I'm working with her. She's going to have a party, and yeah, I really like her. I really like her. So anyways, thank you for those of you that watch. Didn't Lisa do great? Yay! Yes, she did awesome. And let's run together, you guys. Let's build your team. It'll bring on a whole new dimension to your business. So yay. Absolutely. Go forth and multiply or conquer, whatever.